Monday, bank holiday. I can't be wrong. Reference My Health, Department of Works and Pensions, the statutory system going back 2000, even longer, 2011. It's now 2019. How many years is that? Go back 2 months ago on this channel, you'll see a heading My pport Capita DWP UK 2018-19. It's worse than this. So you'll go into also what is past hell, public service cuts, evidence in my area UK. Go back to adult health, subject, go back to even 2 months ago, there's a live stream and public meetings. Go back into the channel, you'll see the history of covering the evidence on the NHS, so-called lack of choices, there's no healthcare. You go back to the evidence of the dental health, you go back into the evidence of my experience of the lack of repairs. It's all by design, all this, by the way, I'm coming to the point. It's not a wet room. They won't never repair this. Secure tender is out the window. Go back to the evidence on this channel, 23rd of November 2019. You'll find out what happened on that day. They're set up by civil servants. You go back to 4 months ago, how I was robbed in the street in my wheelchair and how it was blamed back on me, and it's all BS. I've got evidence of what happened there. I've got evidence of the lies of the civil servants meant to be. There's no help when you're being unlawfully targeted. So the evidence of the contract company violation to disabled people with any disabled individual, ill pardon health. The United Kingdom 2019 is getting worse, 2000 plus, 19 plus. I have direct discrimination, unlawful discrimination is going throughout the United Kingdom by design. It's not just about the getting rid of anything to help disabled people. The classification now is all this is by design to strip me of every damn little offer of service. Everything you can imagine. Right, you got public servants working for certain individuals, departments in the job role. I'm not going to say which ones. You have my private life friends only been stepping in since 2014, which I reported everything. I'm going through all their statutory systems as well, because you dare to speak up for yourself about the harm and the effects of what happened to me of 13th of 12th 2002, and why the hell should I need to be traumatized severely, relive all this serious attempted murder on my life? And if you're under 18, do not listen further. If you're sensitive to any triggers or comments, again, do not listen to this. The abuse and evidence on all private medical reports. A certain individual that works for a certain well-known so-called advice service is only gone allegedly breached my data, sending my private information off to. Criminal injury is called in statute law criminal injuries compensation. They are based up in Glasgow, Scotland, but they're all part of Ministry of Justice Limited as a company. You can check it out, turnabadstreet.co.uk. Okay. I do not want to, I never, ever since I ended up in a wheelchair with high mental care needs and everything's gone the way it's gone over the years, I've not been able to deal with this. matter at all. The no-win, no-fee former lawyer years and years and years ago failed to provide the medical evidence and do my report for me that they were paid to do. By the time the Queen Injuries takes their cut, there'll be nothing left anyway. But it's not about monetary system. It's about the unlawful breach and the effects of all this, reliving it. There's been blogs and websites of victims of crime. Well, taught is taught harm. With the new LPS in brief, last and power of attorney, last and power of, I can't remember the long words, bear with me, 7 months ago there was a video on this. In UK it's known as Mental Health Statute Act 2018. Go and check what that means to anyone who has learning disability, dementia. I can't go any further back onto this channel, what I'm trying to find. The serious damage, the effects unlawfully by the online computer systems treating you like a commodity rather than the code, the so-called in statute or code of victims of crime clearly states what's meant to be in place in support of those that experience. I mean, I can't even go into it. I don't know how I survived the attempted murder. The individual went on to kill women in London. The families of the dead victims got their compensation straight away, rightly so. I was used by the Met Police, the certain departments. I won't go into it all, but just put it this way: I don't talk about it ever in this manner, and the psychological permanent impact. I've never been able to talk about it. I've seen people over the years, but I've never, ever been able to describe or talk about it because it psychologically is so deep rooted and it's permanent effect. And whether that's linked into other subjects I know about, who knows? But the cuts in services in every damn little thing in the United Kingdom, my area, who gives a monkey's the effects on disabled people then when you get run over? By 2011, obviously, high mental care needs, physical equipment, etc. These certain civil servants are attacking my character. They've been doing this as well in 2017. I've got evidence of what they were doing as well. But it is linked to subjects I can't bring up on this channel. They want to strip away. If you accept any criminal injuries compensation and you have a legit reason to claim your housing benefit, ESA, Universal Credit, Disability, DLA, PIP now it's called, Person Dependence, every damn thing like that will be stripped off you and you'll be left with nothing. So you think about it, the lawyers will take their cut and you'll be left, say, 500 quid, but the recovery unit, you need to check out this statute documentation online, anybody that's experienced this. Department of Works and Pensions in the HMRC division all work in tangent online. The negligence of using, without my consent by the way, this certain, we could help remotely, certain individuals, I can't say publicly, individual, fail to mention this. I don't have the skills to type online, to put on the computer system every serious thing that's what I cannot do. I don't have those skills anymore. To re-sick to re-traumatise anyone in my position, United Kingdom, by civil servants. They work for the public, and they work by bonuses, by the way, to get you off their system. My years and years and years ago, before I moved here, and I was able-bodied, do you think if they had done their job right, in 2000 and many years ago, I can't go into everything, I'll be here all day otherwise. If they had done their job right, and the lawyers had done their job right at the time, I would have had the correct payout. I'm constantly being effing bombarded by negligence, incompetence. The words are endless. And then you got how disabled people are being demonised. You're vulnerable. You can't speak up when things go wrong. So all along, the failure to offer, the mess up to do certain things, certain individuals in certain housing, health, care combined, I would never, all along, was ever going to be offered any adult health social care services or any lawful dignity and treatment in my housing rights as secure tender in such law as well ever. They never intended to repair this wet room ever, because they knew full well behind the scenes they were building up for this time to make sure that I'm left without one single any kind of safety net whatsoever, without a home to live in. They want to push me out into their controlled care home and strip me of every single human right I have and able rights I have. I have all the evidence in front of me. Go into a document best I can, and I need to keep this short because I'm extremely unwell. Absolutely disgusted by this. Right. Thought my mate downloaded this, so I'm just checking to see if they've done. I contacted bear with me. I've actually downloaded this. My personal character assassination went back on 7. I knew there was something strange about all these strange emails. Ministry of Justice Code of Practice for Victims of Crime. It doesn't mean nothing. What the code for practice of victims of crime, what's meant to happen now, it's like a postcode lottery, but in my area, when you go through and you're a vulnerable adult and the sensitivity and the nature of serious sexual horrific nature of a crime on top, and I ain't going to go into it publicly, it's private. At the end, adult victims of the extra requirements is meant to be put in place. At the end of it is Section 8 compensation. Then if we don't even get the right treatment of that, the duties of service providers to provide special measures. They've never, ever, ever done that. Never. I mean, this is going back years ago. I know this document is all changed. Don't know what the date of this is, when they changed it. So why Ministry of Justice, and if I'm just looking at this, so it's not changed actually, it's section, so presented to UK House of Commons, when you've had attempted murder in your life, of the 13th of the 12th 2002, you've been in the national media, you helped the murder squad in Scotland Yard, Met Police, you were the only survivor, the 3 women died in London, and so my evidence is being used to convict the guy of that, and I've never once received any correct support, I've been informed I would never recover. On a upper tribunal I couldn't get to because I'm physically disabled in a wheelchair. Got one over 2009. A decision had already been made without offering me a video link from my own as a special measure. On May 2011, that was used the evidence for my PIP and ESA all these years. And I find out on a document to invite me to go to Manchester of the tribunal, first tribunal chair, that they deal with the social entitlement chambers, the same ones that deals with Department of Works and Pensions appeals for any kind of benefit it might be offered, where they're messing about with disabled people in UK already. And it's getting worse. But the code downloaded is over about 120 pages long. Right down the bottom, there's no information. It goes into what's meant to happen in the victims' code through the criminal justice system. How many does anyone know has ever got justice? Enhanced entitlements. I've never received that. Okay. So the offer to go to Manchester, I can't eat my own, by the way. That letter is going returned back. If they had got the correct medical evidence, the factual evidence on their computer system nowadays they're using, they would find they should treat me as a vulnerable adult as well as my rights within this code, Ministry of Justice of Victims of Crime. Still, why are they digging it all up all these years on? Ever since 2011, when the upper tribunal is in the Royal Courts of Justice, Ministry of Justice head office in London made a decision already to offer a certain amount. It wasn't about money. I have never, since I ended up 16 different females a week, 3 times a day, extreme high amount of care, and much more since 2017 now. And my hell I've been going through, as you see in my videos on this channel, what I've been describing, knowing what I know, to only re-traumatize me, like I'm living it all over again, what happened to me. I've never, ever been able to talk to any psychologists, psychiatrists, because apparently they say I can't be helped. I can't describe it because it's like when you're at inches to death and you survive, and that son of a gun is in a mental hospital for life. He won't ever get out. But when you survive that and you have to put it in your back of your head, your mindset, to get on with your physical disabilities on top, to cope with the incompetence of civil servants in the job role and all these years to date. And then you get this bloody all over bank holiday to think about it. It was like intentional to create this re-traumatization all over again. So, if it wasn't for good people I've met over a period of years, like online and meditation and things like that, to try and help me cope with all this shite, I don't know how I'll be dealing with it at the moment. Well, not dealing with it at the moment, but I'm doing the best I can to get by. Right, this is what I found out. On the recovery of benefits, any compensation, I mean, if it was a certain large amount, I would come up with this bloody so-called benefit system. And I would rightly so rely on any offer compensation if it was going to be able to live on, but it's not. It's not even that high. And by the years ago, it was a no-win, no-fee lawyers. And by the time they take that cut, I'll be left without anything. And the intention all along is to push me onto universal credit. But first, to strip everything off me. Every damn thing. And make me now completely in the mercy of the state, with no home, wheelchair bound, to be homeless. I'm not making none of this up, by the way. The state cannot see anybody in my position homeless, but their red tape and the cutbacks and services, they won't give a monkeys. And they haven't to date, by the way. They recently discredited me in an email, claiming I don't have a hoist, claiming I don't need to be transferred. I can't bloody walk, by the way. I've got all this evidence. I said in my previous videos, go back on this channel, you go and find out what I've said about it all. So, I wasn't physically disabled when I was able to get on a train and try to help the Met Police and the Old Bailey in London years ago. The circumstances completely significantly changed by 2010, 11 and now on to date. More so, as I said. So therefore, I haven't been provided. I mean, what the point being is, why the hell is these civil servants not realised if they show our data on a computer system of disabled people, especially when they work with housing benefit, and then it pays your rent, the full council tax rebate on medical grounds, is all there in black and white in their system. The extent and the severity of the effects of this horrific crime in tort law and this personal situation, all of these years on, to come back and claim, oh, why haven't you accepted the payment offer? It's because I've had no damn family member, which I tried to get offer in 2014, 15, to help set up a trust account so everything will be protected in my son and his wife's name for the sake of my grandchildren. And then it protects in personal injury cases. I found out eventually it might be protected your entitlement to disability benefits because you're too ill to work. But as he moved away, and he just didn't want to know, and I've got a certain family member, not going to say who, is behind a lot of this to make sure I don't get any support of my own bloody own family. It's got worse since my mum died last year. So there isn't any services that will. They're just targeting me and singling me out. You make to wonder why. I do not like going down the angle of statutory law, complaint system. I've got no energy. I've got no health for it all. And I read some blogs yesterday where they're making victims of horrific crimes, that domestic violence really is crumbling around, not just my situation. I'm sure there's thousands others, I presume, but I could only go on about mine. So I don't have a responsible, what their system needs is independent advocate to help me with this current matter. In Scotland, they're based. Their administrative criminal injuries first tribunal. It's already gone to the second tribunal in London, as I said, years ago, and they're dragging it all back up again. They're not questioning the offer, not questioning what's happened. They just want to set me up. As soon as I sign their documentation offer, every damn thing will stop. And I'm not going to accept the offer. I'm entitled to it, but I'm not going to accept it because nobody wants to bloody help me. So, bad enough I didn't get my day in court. I helped the dead victim's family, and I helped the police at the time. National press trashed my character. And it's been like that for years. I can't turn to the press. I wouldn't. The seriousness of this, targeted, make me vulnerable. There's nobody's harming me, my private friends, nor me to me. It's a bloody, horrific, corrupt, bloody Ministry of Justice, administrative, civil servants deliberately doing this to me. All these years on. And I cannot ever cope with talking face to face because of it all, with people, with anything now, for years because of it all. That's what's the base of it all. And then when you try and state this to civil servants and other subjects that you're dealing with, why you need offer of an advocate service, it's because of it. Stop being awkward. And the special measures and support I need. It's a trauma base. So I pray for all those that's going through horrendous situations themselves, because when you're not getting the lawful entitlements, that alone, you find all this out. HMCTS, civil servants, had been so insensitive, so incompetent, known full well the paperwork they have on their computer systems, knowing full well the case was high profile years ago. Criminal appeal and UK Supreme Court. Do I need? I don't know. I can't find a law company who are willing to take this on, willing to take them to the High Court in the Strand in London for the humane degrading. The Commission is obliged to notify the victim if there is a reasonable prospect of reviewing coming to the victim's attention. All of these words, that's all they are words. I don't know if anyone's got any justice. If you have, you've got the right connections, but I know certain individuals who they're connected to. And I don't know why this man, what he did, and what was in his head, and I'm not him, I never would want to be. But I'm just saying it's horrendous. There's a private document, medical document, as my evidence. The former lawyers years ago helped produce, top barristers in the country at the time, many years ago. So unfortunately, criminal injuries compensation, FTTCIC in brackets, with response to an appeal 42 days. It went, I got blocked to go to get a proper hearing, the first the upper tribunal especially. But if it wasn't for initial lawyer I had at the time, and the company had, they changed their name, they changed their employees years and years ago, I wouldn't even got halfway through. But I did not realise all these years on, all this would come back, and I wasn't informed that if one's on disability benefits and the sensitiveness and all this stuff that's gone on, very, very sensitive and private, I was never informed that this could affect your entitlement to the offer of disability benefits, everything, every damn thing. And of course, if that former lawyer, the company had, and set up a trust fund to protect the offer of the small amount of compensation offer, I wouldn't be in this position today. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I swear to goodness. And there's no way I'm in a medical condition. I'm not even physically. There's a victim contact scheme. When you suffered violence, horrific violence, violent crime, and it's been backed up with evidence, etc., etc. And this is 140 pages longer, even. These civil servants are just robots on a computer, allegedly. Because how on earth can we expect serious victim of violent crime to relive all this many years later? And it's done by design. So that was the so-called United Kingdom victim of the Code of Victims of Crime. Okay, my friend downloaded and saved it. Everything's online now. Doesn't matter what you do. And now we're trying to get I can't even speak this word, so bear with me. Right, it's called the Judicial Conduct Tribunals Amendment Statute or 2017. The law, it's called in statute law. It's no wonder people fed up with UK Conservative Labour. Everybody's a bloody same politically. Who is the Lord Chancellor political? And they're quoting this statutory law. Powers confirmed by sections, whatever, is quite a long, detailed Reform Statute Act 2005, Statistical Discipline, Procedures, and it goes into, are we meant to be our own lawyers as well as survivors of horrific violent crime? Well, anyway, I don't know how they expect. You've got, as I said, my mate was trying to look at this yesterday and I was exhausted, and it goes into tribunals. Here we go, statute policy 2014. And then of course they deal, it's called of course you've got a Lord, House of Lords, MPs. Do they really give a shite about ordinary people? Question mark on that one. And there isn't any particular thing that my mate could find out in easy to read format, straightforward format, easy to just find out what the hell all this is about. So I'm not spending any more time on this. It's late. And I'm just again going to reject it. That's it. And reject the offer. If I can't get out to bloody local PIP assessment and they mess up also to come to my own, and go back on my video last October about all that, 2018, on this channel, you'll find out what happened and all that. I can't get to bloody Manchester. What arseholes, excuse my bluntness. How insensitive and how evil and cruel. Was it come, my mates that are trying to care for me believes this is all deliberate to trigger off a meltdown. It won't happen. It will not happen. Yes, I'm extremely very concerned, to put it mildly. So, there was a blog somebody sent a link to today, and it goes into how Department of Works and Pensions can crawl back overpayment ever since 2011. Everything I've ever been offered. Recoverable, classification of recoverability, classification overpayments. It's not an overpayment. Nobody informed me that if you're offered a criminal injuries compensation, they can claw any offer of benefit and disability benefit, and they can go back. I would have thought it's statutory barred to do that, but of course we know how their system works. And it includes everything. So what the hell? So you don't get no justice as a victim of crime. You live with the effects of attempted murder, and then you find out all these years on, in 2019, they can claim back if you accept an offer of criminal injuries compensation. So there's no way I would consent to the offer, because they full know well I don't want it as blood money as far as I'm concerned. But I didn't know this years ago. I wasn't informed this years ago. It's not my bloody fault. People could say, oh, you should have known. Well, how are you going to know when you're suffering from attempted murder in your life and it's affected you for life? And the circumstances surrounding my physical ill health. How am I meant to bloody know? But I had to learn some things. But I didn't know this bit, that they can get away with this. Department of Works and Pensions, that is. Head office, Clapton House, London. Suspending all of one's entitlements, everything. If I accept that offer, they suspect they don't realise. And all does this bloody former lawyers years ago. I'm talking about last time I ever heard of them was 2010, and before I ended up in hospital first time in 2010. I wrote to them and said I'll be my neighbour. I sent the medical evidence off. And then I deteriorated ever since. They didn't get in contact with me. They just lied. Oh, I'm not going to say anything more. I'm not going to badmouth anybody. I'm not here for that. But be aware, if you survive, whatever it might be, God forbid you don't go through what I'm going through. But if you survived a victim of crime, and then you say, oh, and if you're on benefits, oh, you can claim this. Just make sure you have somebody to help you to set up a trust fund to protect your benefits. Nobody's helping me. Nobody gives a shit. They like me to say just left in a hell of a rut and target me and make it worse. And the only way they can try and imply next is, oh, we'll appoint somebody from court protection. Yeah, that's what they've been planning. So it goes into the particular examples how they call the man and woman a claimant, how they can claim it's one's error but not notifying somebody about I haven't got any capital, I haven't got anything to myself. Like many of people, you're struggling with disability and low income, but on top, you get targeted by certain individuals, all linked up to certain subjects I can't go into right now. So they can claim easily on their computer systems that there's an overpayment and they're going back to how many years they can go back. Does it matter if I accept an offer of criminal injuries compensation all these years? That still won't pay back any claim of overpayment of what I thought I was led to believe entitled to all these years. Yeah, that still won't pay off, and I'll be left in debt to the state. Well, I don't have the quality of life, and I'm not moaning and groaning. I appreciate breathing. I appreciate just existing, because that's what you expect disabled people to do, don't you? You know, the state system. The error is not by me. It's United Kingdom statutory system that's caused the error to me. If they don't provide the documentation alongside, it's no wonder I don't know. And then it needs to go in the balance of probabilities then. Balance out the probabilities. Well, if your experience, thousands of people, I've seen, but I experience, I'm not going to know all this stuff. I've got medical evidence to back everything up anyway. But the fact is, I'll go in this stream. I can't carry on with this now. I've got to protect my health. It's just unbelievable. I messaged my sister, but she never gets back to me. Ironic, innit, on the day when there's his royal family has a baby. Ironic when there's people starving on the street. There's people going through hell themselves. It's ironic, innit? Excuse me. Okay, just checking to see if there's another document I can relate to. So, years ago, what this used to be called the Tribunal Procedure, First Tier Tribunal, Social Entitlement Chamber Rules 2008. They called it at the time Criminal Injuries Compensation Scheme 2001. There's a case reference number. I presume it's still the same. And this is going back. This is an appeal which rises out of an incident that occurred on the 13th December 2002. Notice of appeal was received on 28 November 2008. Since that date, Tribunal has been endeavoured to list the appeal for an oral hearing. See, why didn't they go on the medical evidence? By 2009, I ended up having to move up my old home. I was in temporary accommodation in 2009. Ended up moving here 2009. Ended up getting run over at end of the year. Ended up in a wheelchair by 2010. Prior to that, I was going through horrendous experiences trying to get help with the effects of an attempted murder in my life. And this document had failed to, and the former lawyer, they call it appellant, and the representatives had made regular requirements for adjournments because of my physical reduction of my health. This mail, 30th March 2011, failed to take my physical disability evidence consideration, a guy called Anthony, right? Failed to even offer a video link. Failed, and a former law company lawyer failed to offer to sit in my current home, by that date, my current home, and assist me with this, knowing full well this evidence, the factual evidence of first-hand knowledge, was never used. Tribunal is administrative department of Ministry of Justice. This individual was heartless, doesn't know me, just looked at case papers and claimed to void the computer system, their system, regard to the functioning of their administrative Ministry of Justice system in UK. That it's to ensure the participants and the parties are able to participate fully in the proceedings to avoid delay. I could not, as I said, 16 different females a day, high care needs, and I just had another bloody stroke in 2011 as well. They failed to act upon my medical evidence and to adjourn until I was fit enough to be offered a video link. They failed to make disability reasonable adjustments to civil servants, and all these years on to date, still going on now. They failed to offer to adjourn the hearing, so they made a decision without my presence, without my representative, without my former lawyer years ago, on the 4th of May 2011, and based because of history of previous adjournments, because of my physical disabilities and ill health. The former lawyers failed to forward on my medical evidence, and I took on the former lawyers in the system, in-house complaint system. But I had nobody to assist me to do all this. I did the best I could, and that's how you get treated in all these years on to date. I am not going to be doing what they offer. And yet, it's the same system for anyone going through appeals process and deliberately harming vulnerable disabled people for whatever offer a benefit system in the United Kingdom nowadays. And then using that online computer program system set up against individuals. Excuse me. So, no time again. That male, a male, why couldn't they appoint a female? No disrespect to men, but why couldn't they offer somebody with dignity, with a heart, with awareness, how serious victims of violent, horrific crime as well will struggle to engage, to respond in the way their system needs it. There was no such thing to implement in their system equality, statutory duty of care, human rights, you name it. And I haven't got all day to go through it all. And when I thought last year, civil servants in my area offer adult health social care side to it all, would make sure, and I didn't all of this wasn't even on the discussion then. I had no clue. They were going to just hit me back with character assassination all over again. So the abuse of all due process has all happened all over again. I don't know if I said a case reference number. X04 26509 APG, I think it's called something else now. And I repeat, Criminal Injuries Compensation Scheme 2001 in brackets. First, the tribunal procedure, first tier. Social entitlement. Someone trying to hack into my computer, bear with me. Okay, my friend's trying to work it out. And going to, if anyone can do this, or friend or family members, if you have them, Social Entitlement Chamber in brackets, and they called it Rules 2018. I don't know if it's changed now. My mate was trying to look at it yesterday. This is all to trigger off a reaction, by the way, to anybody in my situation, I should say. No, I don't have anyone to present the first-hand knowledge of all the truth. I do not have anyone to attend on my behalf either. And yes, they can encourage and invite as much as they like. But when you're, unfortunately, deterioration now, one situation, there's nothing I can do about it. But send the offer back, get it done for me in their post, recorded post. It was done, by the way, previously in 2018, sent back. A man, an unknown individual, claimed certain paperwork or something wasn't quite right. But at the time, good job, I had to reject the offer then because I still was trying to deal with all what was going on during 2018 and the effect, when you effect of a loved one dying on you and all that traumatic event as well. So this is all about re-traumatization, traumatic events, re-traumatization. Is it this their policy? Is this what it's all about? Monday onwards now. Is this what it's all about? Well, my private life friends object things out and they believe that I'm set up in many areas. So trying to look at the any kind of update statute policy, no matter what you do, there isn't any what's known as statute or legal aid funding for anything like this, or any offers or appeals, nothing anymore, United Kingdom, England. So certain things my friend is going to try and word for me will be rejection. And they won't stop. So I can't say what a personal friend has done for me today, trying to help me with. And as I said, my sister has failed to get back to me yet again. It's not surprising. There's a bug going around, I think, as well. Picked up some bug. But there was a message sent to my sister because I wasn't sleeping well at all yesterday. And then all she does is sends me a picture. And she means well, I'm sure. But the seriousness of the situation, she doesn't get it. And my friend messaged my sister for me. If your belt, this has got this scratch, caused me flashback. Yeah, thanks. My mate's just taken a picture of this document and just posted it to my sister on one of these social media apps. But she won't be able to respond. She never does in that way, unfortunately. So we're just trying to look up. My mate's gonna try and do something now. It's getting late, so anyone going through offer a victim of crime and any notice, it's like a notice, an offer, it needs to be rejected and a certain way to do it. So trying to look at the words. When you have daily tasks and personal care and all that, you thought you deal with one thing and then you're dealing with another. Deprivatisation, it's called, of capital rules, statutory documentation, the statute law UK. Appointments of attorney, the payments had in trust, if there's a medical, mental health or physical disability and one is unable to deal with one's affairs, then my friend saw this article, and then there is a possibility of the offer of Ministry of Justice Limited using the untrained tribunal social entitlement chamber administrative department of Ministry of Justice division to appoint the offer a court protection, but that will mean a civil servant in adult health social care on behalf of another of their, I can't really mention certain individuals, but a certain department, put it this way, a civil servant, again, to offer their opinion, put it this way, personal opinion, and this is why I've not been received any of the services on that side for over a year. This Statute Care Act 2014 never was to be offered anything. It's all been deceived all along, everything. They knew housing, everything combined, knew all along this was going to happen behind the scenes. But all this evidence, trying to find it's fraudulent, and when one is seeking the qualifications of these men and women in the public role and the summary brief outline of the offer of service, it is being completely blocked and negligent and not forthcoming, and no valid offer of copies. And this is, I can't put myself on camera, I'm not well enough. So you have private life friends trying to help you the best way you can with the extra tasks, phone calls, holding this computer, trying to do emails. But when they struggle, what else are you meant to do when there isn't any your family members about in your vicinity, in your area to assist you? And I don't know how many hours people in the United Kingdom, but this is what it's called, again, I repeat. I can't even pronounce it again now. I have to spell it DEPRINATION, or capital. I don't have any bloody finance, commerce, capital income. But that's how they see it, to save the public purse. But yet they abuse the public purse funds nationally. Allegedly, I put alleged, okay? Because I don't want people to try and... There's no assumption. I put alleged because I'm just covering myself. I've got evidence of everything, first-hand knowledge, for years and past years. I know this is all completely targeted and spiritual and evil, and words I can't even explain right now. There's no point. No point in all this bloody paperwork anymore. I won't give in, or just... You know, when you have a document to claim you're permanently, affected by violent crime, it's hard for anyone to, I don't know about anybody else, but it's hard to accept. And then you get labelled. Labels are just for the system, they need labels. But then you genuinely get physically ill. And then just because you're affected by this horrific crime all these years on, you judge the judgmentation. Or you don't have this, or you're making up. No, when you end up in a hospital, like I did end of 2017, with extra physical disabilities, and witnessed by your daughter-in-law, live on Facebook as evidence, and done a statement, an email statement for me, what she witnessed. And still certain civil servants won't accept that. It's all messed up, and the human rights element comes into it. Your natural human rights. There's so many entwined to all this. And this is just, I'm not going to go down the road of why should you need to explain yourself by their bloody system just to survive on this earth when it's no fault your own that you experience horrific crimes? violent crimes, horrific injuries, get run over, constantly have things happen, which is a lot of subjects I won't go into what I'm linked up the dots now to certain things that's gone on. And no, when you get blocked to certain things, offer to certain things, and there's a pattern that goes on, and it's not you making it up. You got a diary, you keep a journal, and you link up the dots. Discrimination. Worse than that. But anyway, my friends advised me to get off, and I'm going to try and rest. God bless everybody that's going through worse. There's no authority by any man or woman on this earth that tell me what to do. In their system, they just always been trying to do bloody well discredit me, but I've got all this black and white evidence of everything. It's still not good enough for their system, and I don't know how people are coping yourselves in this messed up world. But I tell you, I've never thought I'd live to see the day, let alone have this flashback all at me again. How evil and how cruel. Just because I do not need to explain myself to nobody, you know, let alone strangers, to re-traumatise me all over again, to create, what, another heart attack symptom. I've already had that last week. I'm not having this again. So I need to switch off and put something music on. God bless. Take care.